The world of IT is changing at an ever-quickening pace right now, and it is difficult today to understand where that is going to lead us in the future. From a global perspective, we hear a growing claim from the IT industry that they experience severe skill shortages, especially at the higher technical levels. And the reality is, there are fewer students enrolling for IT at university and colleges, not only in South Africa, but internationally. The IT Industry Competitive Index report is produced by the Business Software Alliances. In 2007, South Africa was 29th out of 64 in the study. Just 4 years later, in 2011, South Africa had dropped to 49th out of 64. The specific elements that pulled us back are research and developments. Our score was 18.4 and the highest was 74.3. Infrastructure, our score was 17.5 and the highest was 89.9. And human capital, our score was 32.1 and the highest was 74.1. The list of outsourcing countries produced by Sourceline in 2011 and 12. South Africa was ranked 29th out of 38 countries. Our resources and skills score was 0.6, while the top scorer, India, scored a perfect 6. We are getting these scores while in South Africa we have excessive youth unemployment and a critical need for job creation. At IT Job Compiler, we believe that we, the IT industry in South Africa, need to take responsibility and accountability for driving skills development in the country, not only for local consumption, but also to cater for South Africa as a top destination for outsourcing. From an IT perspective, jobs and skills are changing faster than ever before. The top 10 jobs in IT in 2014 did not exist in 2004, and there are many jobs that exist in the workplace today that just didn't exist 10 years ago. This is just a sample of those jobs. And what is more important, these jobs are so new that we really don't yet fully understand what they entail, what levels and grades they should be at in the organization, how much to pay them, and what skills and competencies they actually need. And finally, according to IBM research, this is a list of technologies that the CXOs think will be particularly important to their business in the next 3 to 5 years. So, with all these changes, the key questions that CXOs should be asking right now are, what skills do we need to drive business strategy in the next 3 to 5 years? Will we have the skills when we need them? What skills do we have right now? Which staff can be reskilled? And how do we ensure that we will have the skills needed? According to Greg Williams, the editor of Wired magazine, the speed of change is getting faster in terms of pretty much everything we do in every sphere of our lives, to the point where none of us are in a position to fully understand what our future might hold. And we have to look for skills in an environment like that. This graph demonstrates the cost saving to an organization of developing your own talent. It was taken from actual research undertaken by the Human Capital Management Institute. The graph shows the cost differential between customer support talent grown in-house, the bottom line, and talent brought in at a later date, the upper line. The difference between the two is the cost saving to the organization attributable to growing one's own talent. The bottom line is, it saves you money over the longer term to grow your own talent rather than buying in when you need it. If you want to achieve these savings by growing your own talent, you will need the system that includes an IT structure that aligns with business and IT strategy, an IT human capital strategy plan, an IT workforce and succession plan, effective performance and engagement management, a reward system that encourages growth and performance, and competency and skills development plans. And central to this system is the definition of roles and a career and competency framework that will enable it. And this is what we are offering you today. The one thing that we know about people development is just 15% of our knowledge and skills development is acquired through formal education and training. The other 85% is acquired in life and in the workplace. So the workplace is a very significant place for people growth and development. In this graphic, we use the classic business school view of an organization. Operations at the lowest range of the pyramid, management the middle, and strategic at the top. This pyramid also is supposed to depict the numbers of people in each of the ranges. Not exactly, but graphically. In the IT industry, with SAQA and other initiatives of the MICT-CETA and the like, we have been proliferating the number of IT skills at entry level to such an extent that we have an oversupply of skills at that level. Where the industry experiences skill shortage is in the higher level technical skills. This means that there is a gap between the oversupply of skills at entry level and the unavailability of skills at the higher level. This gap means that we, as an industry, are clearly missing a crucial ingredient that would help us to bridge this gap. We at IT Job Compiler believe that this missing link is a framework for workplace development, a blueprint against which organizations are able to grow people to levels common and accepted by the industry, and defining the competencies and level of competence needed for each level. The blueprint will be used by organizations and by training providers and all those involved in the informal development of people in the workplace. So, to start this process, we have created a framework of work levels, and we have equated these levels with the Patterson grading system, the most commonly used grading system, as well as the new NQF levels and the international levels used for international professional accreditation. We have defined 5 levels: the entry level, which covers formal education and training and the first 2 years in the workplace; practitioner, which includes all IT technical positions; professional, this is a pivotal level from which either people management or technology leadership become a career choice; the lead, which includes people as well as technical lead; and strategic, which includes business and technology strategy. With the flattening of organizations and the need to still grow people, the concept of dual career pathing is an important consideration. Drotter created the definitive leadership pipeline. When he originally created the pipeline, the concept of technical specialist was not considered. However, the more modern depiction of the leadership pipeline now shows how the managing self level of the pipeline extends well up the organization in terms of knowledge, skills, and competencies, as well as in terms of the all-important remuneration. In any IT environment, there are 3 fundamental skills groups. The systems group, which includes all roles involved in the design, development, implementation, and support of IT applications. The infrastructure group, which includes all roles involved in the design, operation, and support of the IT infrastructure. The support group, which includes all roles involved in the support of the client and the systems and technology groups. To give you some idea of how it would work in IT, we have drafted this career map for the systems group. At the bottom in green are the entry-level roles. The next level up in orange are the practitioner-level roles. Next level up in blue are the professional roles, and in purple, further up, are the lead roles, and the top level in red are the strategic level roles. The arrows show that within the skills group, career development can be horizontal, vertical, or oblique, or spiral, as we commonly call it today. There are fundamental competencies that can be commonly used within this entire group, but each stream shown vertically also has unique competencies. By defining the competencies needed both horizontally and vertically, career choices can be made to suit both the individual and the organization and facilitates spiral career pathing. A graphic for the framework for workplace development looks something like this. To be effective in IT, we need competencies in 3 areas: functional or technical, competencies that relate to the role. For example, a programmer must be able to design, code, and test programs. Professional or business, competencies related to the business environment. For instance, the programmer must understand the business environment. Life skills or behavioral, competencies that are fundamental to doing the job properly. For instance, a programmer must have analytical thinking. The increasing circles depict that in order to grow and develop in the workplace, we need to develop and grow competencies in all 3 of these competency groups. To demonstrate, we have created this competency matrix for the application development roles. The complete matrix covers 3 slides. This slide shows the functional or technical competencies. Down the left in the first column are the competency areas, for example, the application and exploitation of IT. Across the top of the roles and just below each role title is the equivalent Patterson grade for that role. So across the top of the jobs and down the side are the competencies. This is the same on the next 2 slides. The number depicts the level of competence for the specific competency area. These levels are 1. Aware of, 2. Familiar with, 3. Proficient in, and 4. Expert in. So as you look at this matrix, you will notice that as the role grows from one grade to the next, so the level of competence grows, but more importantly, the number of competencies increases. You will also notice that the increase in level of competence is much slower than the increase in the number of competencies. This is the fact of workplace development in the IT industry. And this is why the formal education and training providers simply cannot provide at entry level the skills and competencies needed at the higher levels. This development can only take place in the workplace. And that is why we at IT Job Compiler believe a framework for workplace development is essential if we want to grow people deliberately and in sufficient numbers that we can obliterate the skill shortages at the higher level. This slide is just the functional or technical competencies. This slide shows the professional competencies, and you will notice from this matrix that the increase in the number of competencies is even more dramatic. And this makes sense. The more that we know and understand about the environment of business, the better we will be able to apply the functional competencies. And finally, these are the life skills or behavioral competencies. Once again, you will notice that both the level of competence and the number of competencies increases as the roles grow. Only the workplace can produce this learning and development. And this is why we believe that to reduce the skill shortages at the higher levels, we need a framework for workplace development. And we need this applied across the industry so that all players, at the very least the main employers of IT people, are singing off the same hymn sheet and developing the same competencies for the same roles and levels. To help you build your foundation for building your tomorrow's workforce today, IT Job Compiler provides IT career paths articulated over 11 levels and 23 job families, and that support workforce and succession planning and dual career pathing. Information on a full range of IT jobs, including the role title, purpose, outcomes, responsibilities, KPIs, tasks, experience, qualifications needed, prior knowledge, and OFO codes to help you with your skills development levies. A full range of evidence-based competencies, including functional or technical competencies, professional or business competencies, and life skill or behavioral competencies. This facilitates a variety of assessment methods, including skills audits and gap analysis, technical skills assessment, behavioral interviews, and 360 assessment. It enhances performance and talent management by answering the "can I do the job" and "how well do I do the job" questions. and it facilitates non-discriminatory and objective talent management. And it is aligned with popular IT remuneration surveys and job evaluation systems. And now we would like to both ask some questions and answer any questions that you may have about the idea of a framework for workplace development. Our questions are: what are your current issues? What are your current main people issues today? What are your top priorities? How do you do workforce and succession planning, and over what period? Would you introduce a framework for workplace development in your organization? If the skills development levy could be used for this, would this influence your decision? Would you like to actively bridge the skills competency gap in your organization? Would you like us to help you bridge that gap? And now to answer any questions that you may have.